Southerntimes News and EveAfrique. My name is Esimbe Nglas. First, the headlines. River State electorates are currently voting local government executives of their choice. Ambassador-designate Maureen Tamino says promoting Nigeria exports potentials is topmost on her priority. And in business, global crude oil prices continue to rise for the 5th consecutive month. Now the news in detail. Now the news in detail. Nigerian ambassador and high commissioner designates to Jamaica, Belize, Haiti, and Dominican Republic, Maureen Tamino has advised Nigerians, especially business owners, to help boost Nigeria economic and export potentials regardless of their ethnicity and political affiliations. Mrs. Tamino gave the charge at an interactive session with heads of various business sectors when she paid a pre-departure visit to Port Harcourt's Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. Our correspondent, Josephine Elijah Udo, has the reports.
The ambassador and High Commissioner designate Maureen Tamino was accompanied to Port Harcourt Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture by an 8-man entourage, commended the Port Harcourt Chambers for its strides in boosting the economy of Rivers State, while noting that our objective as an ambassador is to find and promote business opportunities that will be of benefit to Nigeria and the 4 countries in areas of tourism, agriculture, oil and gas, ICT.
My role as an ambassador is just to create the enabling environment and link the 2 people or the 2 countries together, introducing genuine people from Jamaica and genuine people from Nigeria for them to do business. That's basically what my job is, and making sure that they don't fall into the wrong hands, basically. So there will be checks and balances. Not everybody jumps on to do business. We need to know you, and that's why you need to register with organizations like, this, so that you'll be able to be known and they can guarantee you to do business.
On his part, the president of FASIMA, Chief Nabel Saleh, in his welcome address, assured her of the Chamber's support in the growth of business between Port Harcourt and the 4 Caribbean countries. He also pledged the support of the Chambers to the ambassador by making the Chambers a point of contact in Rivers State. On their part, heads of various business sectors, while speaking during the interactive session with the ambassador-designate, gave their expectations from our administration. Among the entourage of the ambassador-designate to FASIMA was former Secretary to the Rivers State Government and former Attorney General of Rivers State, Aleruchi Kukigam, former member, Rivers State House of Assembly, Victoria Iyeche, former Managing Director of Rivers State Signage and Advertisement Agency, Chukwudi Dimpa, Managing Director, Royal Vintage Hotel, Christy Baragba, among others. From Port Harcourt, Josephine Elijah Udo, EveAfrique News.
Rivers State electorates are currently casting their votes at various polling units to elect new leaders in the 23 local government areas of the state. The election is for the position of chairman, vice chairman, and councillors of the local government. According to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, 17 political parties are contesting today's election, after the All Progressives Congress APC wrote to the commission that they would boycott the election. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party PDP has the most candidates contesting in today's election, with chairmanship and vice chairmanship candidates in the 23 local government areas and 319 councillorship candidates. This is followed by the African Democratic Congress ADC and the Social Democratic Party SDP, with about 15 chairmanship and vice chairmanship candidates and over 80 candidates for the councillorship positions. Rivers State Police Command earlier this week assured that the command and other sister agencies will be neutral and professional while providing adequate security during and after today's local government election. The command maintained that restrictions of movement would be strictly enforced today. Chairman of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RIPSIEC, Justice George Omerije, retired, said they are ready to conduct a fair, free, transparent, and credible elections. In other news, Group 6 of the Christian Men's Fellowship Welfare of St. Cyprian's Church of Niger Delta Diocese Anglican Communion has built and handed over a 200-capacity church building that is worth 16.8 million naira at Makoba area of Amangopolo in Bunduama, Port Harcourt, River State. Our correspondent Karina Israel brings this report.
In present times, where actions seems to be taken without conscience and consciousness, there is a dire need for a total rehabilitation of mind and spirit. With this, the Group 6 of the Christian Men's Fellowship Welfare of the St. Cyprian's Church of the Niger Delta Diocese Anglican Communion built, dedicated, and handed over a 16.8 million naira church building at the Makoba area of Amangapolo in the Bunduama community. While dedicating the church building, the Bishop of the Niger Delta Diocese, Right Reverend Ralph Ebiren, appreciated the welfare group for the edifice and asked that more efforts need to be put in place to ensure the all-round development of members of the community.
Yes, we've just entered, and from the request made by we will have the request. We have a plan that will help will flow scholarship scheme for this place, and also arrange for skill acquisition training. I will get people from this community to benefit from that church program.
In a speech by the community leader while appealing to the St. Cyprian's Anglican Church to aid in rehabilitating roads and providing scholarship for children in the community, he promised adequate security for members of the church and its properties. In a final note, the building committee chairman, Sir Dan Harry, reiterated the desire of the church to continually do the biddings of the Almighty by providing spiritual growth, peace, sound mind, and development within the community.
Well, it was a charge from the Lord Bishop. You know, when he came on an Episcopal visit to our church, the St. Cyprian's Anglican Church, Hospital Road, Port Harcourt, he was inspired, you know, to ask the Welfare Group 6 to purchase a land at the Makoba houses, Amangopolo community in Bundama. The entire group is fulfilled that this project we all started a couple of months ago has been actualized.
Muslims in Nigeria have begun fasting as the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs announced the sighting of the new moon, which kicked off the Ramadan. The President General, Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs and Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Abubakar, made the announcement this week. Meanwhile, a chief imam in River State, Khalid Ayenoyo, has urged Rivers people to use this period of Ramadan for sober reflection and stop wrongdoings. Imam Khalid, who is the chief imam of Rumulimini Mosque in Port Harcourt, said selfish actions by some Rivers people is the reason for the numerous violence and crimes being experienced in the state.
My Rivers people, this is a great opportunity for you. This message is for you. Try as much as you can do to make you know that God is listening. Listen to you. Leave the wrong thing and follow the right thing. Bible say it. The book of Moses say it. The book of David say it. The book of Abraham say it. Also the book of Solomon say it. But to follow our interest and our set mind. God already give us the way out of our life, but we put our hand to battle. Please, that battle you are doing is not good.
He urged all Rivers people, regardless of religious beliefs and party affiliations, to foster peace in the states. Still to come, residents of Port Harcourt staged protest at Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company over high estimated bills. This and more stories shortly after the break. back to the news. Rivers State government says the inauguration of State Cassava Processing Factory will be held in May 2021. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike stated this at the presentation of processed cassava flour to him and members of the Rivers State Executive Council by the members of management and board of the Rivers State Cassava Processing Company at Government House, Port Harcourt. The governor, who noted that a completed $12 million cassava processing initiative was solely financed by the state government, further commended the Central Bank of Nigeria for releasing funds for the project, though it was after completion. Activities for the election of the National Executive Council of the Ijaw National Congress is underway, with elections scheduled to hold on the 30th of this month. As you may know, the Conference of Ijaw Traditional Rulers and Elders had inaugurated an electoral committee for the purpose of organizing an election for the Ijaw National Congress after previous attempts were marred by violence. According to the Electoral Committee Chairman, His Royal Highness Dagogo Fubra, the Electoral Committee resolved that the election will be held through an electronic voting system. He added that the committee has zoned the presidential position of the forthcoming election to the Western Zone, while other positions will be coming from the Eastern Zone and Southern Zone of the Ijaw clan. Some residents of Port Harcourt staged a peaceful protest to the headquarters of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company (PHEDC) in Port Harcourt over what they say is the excessive high estimated bills being handed to them by the company. The protesters said they were tired of being overbilled for power they did not consume. They said they had overlooked the incident for quite some time and had taken the stand to show their seriousness in the matter, as the company seemed to overlook the various complaints written to them. Our correspondent, Tonte Ibikialabo, brings us details.
The residents who came out in numbers carried placards with various inscriptions on them airing their grievances. The protesters, who were led by the chairman of Rivers State Civil Society Organization, Jennifer George, media personalities like Kofi Battels, and public affairs analyst Andy Akpotoville, accused the management of PHCDC of overbilling and high-handedness in dealing with electricity consumers in the state. Reacting to the Customer Service Management (PHCDC), Shoma Haniwe said, berated the protesters, noting that other forms of dialogue was open to them to air their genuine complaints, but the company is surprised to see they all took to the street. She said the electricity company had noted their complaints and is working towards resolving them, though there have been a lot of hindrances.
PHD is a responsible company, and whatever it is that a customer is aggrieved about, our doors are open for discussion. We have tried everything since a week now to engage the convener to say what are the issues. Let us address the issues. Our company is open, and the customer is the reason why we are standing here today. There's no PHD without customers. If we don't have customers, everybody goes home. So why are what service are we rendering to people? Power supply. And electricity is in such a way that we can't store it. So if a customer is aggrieved, Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission has patterned a way where you can address your grievances.
Highlights of the protest was visible anger from the protesters after PHCDC management refused to address them, but instead spoke to journalists.
Now we came here today, from what he said you can see, that they're not even treating us like we matter. How can you, as a responsible corporate entity with customers who are complaining at your gate, you came out of your compound, bypassed the customers, didn't say a word to them, went to address the press, finished addressing the press, even when they came to plead, you refused to say a word to them.
In Port Harcourt, Tonte Bigalabo for EveAfrique News.
For our business stories, Emmanuel Ejike will bring you the full package. Just stay tuned.
Thank you so much, NCBA. We move straight to the business news, where the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System says the value of transactions carried out online by bank customers jumped to 22.77 trillion naira in March 2021. The Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, in its latest data, showed a growth of 99% from the mobile transaction figures of 11.44 trillion naira recorded in the corresponding period of 2020. Nigeria Interbank Settlement System instant payment was the most preferred platform in March, accounting for 22.02 trillion naira of the total online transaction value. Bank customers conducted the transactions on the NIBSS instant payment, point of sales, and electronic bills platforms. And moving on, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, says the average global crude oil prices have continued to rise for the 5th consecutive month. OPEC, in a report, attributed the continuous rise in international oil prices to the supportive oil market fundamentals deployed by the group to stem the earlier plunge in the crude oil cost. Meanwhile, S&P Global Platts says OPEC has increased its oil demand outlook for 2021. According to them, this is just as bloc and its allies plan to unleash more crude oil supplies over the next few months. Now we move straight into sports. After 12 days of intense competition in 39 events, Delta State again emerged champions of the 20th National Sports Festival, tagged Edo 2020 in Benin City. The sporting fiesta ended with a colorful closing ceremony at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. However, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who was scheduled to declare the event closed, and Sports Minister Soride Dare were notable absentees at the ground ceremony. Team Delta claimed 158 gold, 116 silver, and 110 bronze medals to beat the other teams to the #1 position. Edo State trailed in the 2nd position. And lastly, to entertainment, legendary Nigerian guitarist and high-life musician Oliver the Coke has been honored with a Google Doodle on his 74th posthumous birthday. The illustration for the doodle was made by Lagos-based Ohab TBJ. Oliver the Coke, whose real name is Oliver Sunday Akanite, was one of Africa's most prolific recording artists. Coke began to play music at age 11 and was a star by his late teens. Oliver the Coke died on 20th June 2008, aged 61. And then we joined back ACBA for the rest of the package.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for the news in business and entertainment. You can follow us on all our social media handles for more of these news. And thank you so much for joining us today. Remember to join us same time next week. My name is Nglas Eyesimbe, urging you to use your face mask properly, wash your hands regularly, and remember to maintain social distancing. Thank you.